Welcome everyone to another startup and complete car documentation. What we have here is a 2020 Chevrolet Corvette Stingray Z51. This C8 coupe is painted in the torch red exterior color. Get smart key access. On the key fob you have the buttons for lock, unlock, panic, remote start, along with the buttons to pop open the frunk and the engine cover. Driver's door panel, you have your storage, you have two more just like on the key fob, frunk and engine cover poppers. Power windows, locks, and mirrors obviously. It does have a premium Bose sound system, and both seats have two-person memory settings. You also have power folding mirrors. This 3LT has the GT2 bucket seats trimmed in Napa leather. The name of this interior color is natural, and this one has what Chevy calls the dipped interior, so the whole interior is decked out in this color as opposed to just the seats. But now that we're behind the wheel, let's go ahead and start the engine. And it does have push-button ignition. There really isn't that much to say about the Corvette that hasn't already been said. It's of course an absolute legend of a sports car, easily one of the most undisputedly iconic vehicles of all time. Having earned the nickname America's sports car, the Vette made its debut back in 1953 and is still going strong 70 years later. In fact, it's now in its 8th generation as of 2024. Honestly, the Vette has such a rich history as both a production car and in motorsports that I couldn't even begin to go over everything, or else we'd be here all day. This 2020 model we have here represents the Corvette's 8th and current generation, known as C8, which made its debut for the 2020 model year. The C8 generation marked a truly enormous and controversial change to the Corvette, that of course being the transition from a front engine to a mid-engine layout. This thing was completely re-engineered from the ground up, so again, we'd be here all day if I went into everything. Basically, GM went all out with the C8, aiming straight for the Ferraris and Lambos of the world. The car truly feels like an exotic now, in my opinion. The C8, like prior generations, is offered as both a coupe and a convertible. Aside from the Corvette Stingray with its 490 horsepower 6.2-liter V8 engine, 2023 saw the introduction of a C8 rendition of the Corvette Z06 with a 670 horse flat plane crank V8 engine. For 2024, the Corvette E-Ray is debuting as well, being the world's first hybrid and all-wheel drive Corvette. So far, the C8's only transmission is an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic, so no manual has been offered yet. Anyhow, as for 2020, the first model year of the C8, your only version that year was the Stingray, although you could opt for the Z51 Performance package, which this one has, to further improve performance and precision. With the Z51 package, you get better brakes and suspension components, an electronic limited slip diff, performance exhaust, better cooling, and a different final drive ratio. That's not even getting into the Z51's cosmetic upgrades. Trimlevels included 1LT, 2LT, and 3LT, so this 3LT Z51 is, you could say, loaded to the gills. It has a fully digital instrument cluster, and it is very configurable. You can go through it via these controls on the steering wheel, and I can make a whole video just on this. So you have your trip computers, that kind of stuff, driving info, then you have performance, you do your 0 to 60 lap timers, G-force meter, audio. And then here is where you can configure stuff, so you can change what the gauge cluster looks like. So this is tour mode, And then sport mode completely transforms it. Then track mode completely transforms it. But I like having it linked to the driver mode myself. Here's what it does when you're in Z mode on the steering wheel. You push that. And then you can also pick like what tiles display what. So the top one I can now choose between if I want oil temp, transmission fluid temp, or lateral G's. And then I can go up to the second tier and say I want my tire pressure. And then with like the track mode, I believe there's like 4 quadrants that you can customize. Very cool things in this system. Anyways, you then have a heads-up display. You can adjust where it is. You can adjust what it displays. And then you can also adjust the brightness. It has a 2-spoke design, heated, leather-wrapped, flat bottom and flat top, multifunctional steering wheel. It is absolutely gorgeous. Feels so premium. I love the stitch leather even on the airbag cover. The contrast stitching and contrast band up on top like a race car. Just a gorgeous steering wheel and just gorgeous interior. I mean, everywhere I look, it's just aluminum, carbon fiber, stitch leather, Alcantara everywhere. I feel like I'm in a European exotic car. It feels impeccably well done in terms of build quality and just the premium feel. It doesn't feel like an average, General Motors vehicle, because, for a while they were known for having pretty cheap interiors. But this, you're paying 6 figures for one of these, and believe me, this thing has an awesome interior. Anyways, back to that steering wheel. As for controls, you have your audio controls, information display controls, heated steering wheel, Bluetooth, voice commands, that customizable Z driving mode, if you want to really get crazy, and then you have your cruise controls. Also, paddle shifters to manually shift the transmission, and they feel great. Metal, they have weight to them, very satisfying. And the steering wheel is power, tilt, and telescopic. The parking brake is electronically operated. You have your heads-up display controls, climate vent for the driver. You have your exterior lighting stock, and on this side is your wiper stock. Going down the center of the interior, you have your MyLink touchscreen infotainment system, which we'll go over more in a bit. Central climate vents. Your drive mode selector. You have Tour, Sport, and Track. You already saw what it does to the displays. Then you also have a My mode, customizable, and then a weather mode. Traction control. You can toggle the exterior cameras with this button right here. Really comprehensive, high quality camera system. You have front and rear view cameras. Front one is excellent because you really do not want to be scraping the front of this on curbs. Then you have your gear shifter. You have 2 cup holders, center console with USB-A port, USB-C port, SD card slot, and an aux port. And then you have a wireless charging pad, and that window to look in the back at that engine. And this thing has removable target top, and as you can see, it's kind of got this darkened tint to it to keep the sun out. And then alongside here, we have all of the dual zone automatic climate controls together with 3-stage heated and cooled seats. You have a rear camera mirror. Both Sunvisors have vanity mirrors and lights. Your OnStar, hazards, passenger airbag indicator, motion sensor, overhead lighting. And now here is that touchscreen infotainment system. So we're on audio. Sources are AM, FM, Sirius XM, along with Bluetooth audio streaming. Pair of phone. The navigation system is excellent. This is seriously one of the most responsive touchscreens I've ever used, I think. But you got your Wi-Fi hotspot in here. All sorts of settings. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Bring up your climate controls right here. Shortcuts along the bottom for that. You even have Spotify app in here. And then performance data recorder is awesome. Have different video overlays. So you can record, there's a camera, and you can, say, take this thing to the racetrack, you can record your lap times, but you can even record videos of your laps at the racetrack, and this is what the overlay would look like. So the G meter, and then change it to track. Even got your exact steering angle, the tachometer, just awesome. And that's just the standard home screen. But now we'll go ahead and roll down the driver's window and take a look at the engine bay. Both windows are fully automatic. This Z51 rides on 19-inch front, 20-inch rear, 5 split-spoke alloy rims painted in carbon flash metallic with a machine-finished edge. This one's also sporting the available yellow-painted brake calipers. Mounted rear midship in the C8 Stingray is GM's LT2 6.2-liter naturally aspirated V8 engine. It's an all-aluminum pushrod power plant with 2 valves per cylinder, variable valve timing, direct injection, and active fuel management. In Z51 form, horsepower is rated at 495 at 6450 RPM, while torque is rated at 470 pound-feet at 5150 RPM. Directing that power to the rear wheels is an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. Running on premium unleaded with an 18.5-gallon fuel tank, EPA estimates for the 2020 Stingray are 15 mpg in the city and 27 mpg on the highway. It has a double wishbone suspension setup front and rear, and stopping the Z51 are 4-wheel Brembo disc brakes with front and rear 4-piston monoblock calipers. The Z51 can do 0 to 60 in about 2.9 seconds, and it'll hit a top speed of 184 miles per hour. The C8's front and rear trunks offer a total of 12.6 cubic feet of cargo space. The fuel cap is on the driver's side, as you saw earlier. Anyhow, thanks for checking out this tour of this 2020 Chevrolet Corvette. And as always, stay on the lookout for future tours.